guys? All right. Ready?
I had to go be stupid.
What is that thing called?
I took 4 years of media, I still don't know.
Sign.
The marker.
Marker, that's
Marker, okay.
Marker.
Marker.
Chediet. Kunye. ATA. All right. Today we're going to try playing with our weapons. All right. Don't quote me on that. That's a very professional term, playing with our weapons. We're not playing with our weapons. We are going to study weapons today.
We're playing with our weapons.
We're going to start with some very basic information, go from the beginning to the end. If I have any tigers out there watching with me, if I have any of my new students out there watching, or maybe new camel belts that have just got their weapons. Now, if you do not have a sangjabong, which you guys know as nunchuck, but we call it sangjabong, or a bong mangi, which is a short stick, I'm going to give you a minute to be able to make up what you want to carry for this. We have a couple suggestions, and I did not bring examples of this. I'm sorry, I should have. But if you have an old style, like a long tube sock, you can tie a knot in each end of that sock and hold in the middle. Hold on each side. The knot is just to give it a little bit of weight so you can flip it around. Works really well to use as a practice sangjabong. If you have a piece of PVC pipe for mom and dad, or you've been working on sprinkler systems, or just a stick, find a stick about 2 feet, 2.5 feet long. You'll be able to use that as our bong mangi. Okay, we are going to start with our sangjabong. So get your weapon. All right, sangjabong, meaning stick and string. All right, so it's 2 little sticks connected together. If you're using a sock, this could be funny. Mom and dad, please video them. I think this could be useful later.
Oh, yeah.
So we start with it in your right hand. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. You start with it to bow in your right hand. It is turned out and exposed. So it's not down by your side or behind your back. We call this at show. So we want everybody to see our weapon. We're not dangerous. We're working on drills. When you stand at attention, chediet, you clap your hand, not your weapon. Kunye, you bow like normal. Chumbi, you step apart with your right foot. Separate the weapon so you have one in each hand. Pretty simple. Now, if I have any of my tigers watching, we've been doing our chumbi similar. But when we step apart, we turn one hand up, we swing it under our hand, and rotate it into our chumbi position. That's the chumbi you guys have been working on. All right, your chumbi can be creative if you do creative competitions. It doesn't have to be either one of those. You can make it up as long as you're showing respect and control of yourself and your weapon to get into that position. Now, to set our weapon down, we would go to a chariot position. We drop down on one knee, 2 hands, tip down first, back of the weapon down, and then you're in your listening position. All right. The weapon's a little small to do that with. A little easier with the bong mangi, makes a little more sense. But this way you're not playing or fidgeting with your weapon while instruction's going on. To pick up your weapon, you do that in reverse. 2 hands for control. Tip it up, and then stand up. All right, simple stuff. So chumbi, weapons apart. All I want you to do for warm-ups right now is let go on one hand, and you're going to just flip it to your shoulder. Bring it back to center and catch. Now, opposite hand. notice the weapon is going up on the same side that you're holding it. All right, so I don't want left hand going to right shoulder yet. It's same hand, same shoulder. 10 times, just catch, up, catch, up. 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, notice when I flip the weapon up to my shoulder, the hand that is not holding the weapon goes on guard. So it's up, my fingers are kind of in front of my nose, not touching my nose. It's out where I'm ready to catch the weapon if the weapon is coming back to me, or it's out ready to protect me on guard, okay, if something is coming up or at me. Pretty simple at that point. All right, back to Chumbi. Ready position. I'm going to turn sideways. If you don't know how to do this, you can see a side view and a front view with Miss Smith. So you're going to turn one side pointed at yourself. Other hand goes straight down. Turn the butt of your weapon away, slip your elbow through. Both hands are still on the weapon. Then you let go with your bottom hand. It's up to your shoulder formally. All right, go back to catch. So again, right hand point, down, turn, elbow through. Now, go ahead and undo it and try left side. Point, down, turn, elbow through. All right. We're going to do this 5 times. Well, I'll make it 6. We better do it even on both sides. So 3 times on each side. You just turn it up and turn it up. If you get tangled up, slow it down. If you already know how to do this, speed it up. All right, based on your level and your ability. Okay. So, going to ready position, the Song Jabong is usually performed in a back stance. So, stepping back in a back stance, weapon up on your shoulder. We're going to do a V strike. So, you're going to let go of your top hand, pull it underneath and to your other shoulder. Grab underneath your elbow, find the back side of that weapon, and let go on your top hand and pull it across. Now, keep in mind, this is a striking motion right now. You're getting the coordination of this, very basic, but when you come up, this is an upward, I'm pulling my own hair, upward strike. All right, grab it. You're striking something on your upswing. So now add power to it. Strike and strike. If you've got a strong strike, you will hear, it'll sound like a wind sound of your weapon. All right, we're going to go over the 9 lines with the bong mungi, so I'm not going to hit the 9 lines with this weapon. All right, so V strike, coming in front of you, not behind you. All right, going on to triangle. Again, I'm going to turn sideways. Triangle, all of these motions are a strike. So we're going to pull down to our hip, pull across to our other hip, rotate in a backward circle up to your shoulder. You guys say triangle. Ready? Side, side, circle up to the shoulder. All right? 5 times as fast as you can. So if you're still learning this and getting tangled up, slow it down. All right? Switch feet, switch hands. Everything we do on one side, we do on the other side. Side, side, circle it up. Triangle.
My body's really sore from all these videos and workouts, or I just haven't used a Song Jabong in forever because this hurts right now.
These are basic drills with this weapon. The next one we're going to go over Little more difficult, and it's called a 360. I call it a wrist roll. What is it?
Crossover?
Crossover, there we go. I know there's a more formal name to it. A crossover means the weapon is rolling over the back of your hand. You're going to flip it off. It ricochets off your back over your hand. Let go, grab the other side, and back. It's actually easier to speed this up a little bit to get it to roll back and forth. Crossover, you're crossing over from one side to the other side with this weapon. All right, then we always finish with a twirl up. So a crossover starts from your shoulder, set it up, roll, roll, and twirl back up. Trade to the other hand. If you haven't got this, don't worry, you will have lots of time to practice. All right, set it up, roll it over, roll it back, and finish up. Okay, triangle. So let me give you a few minutes. I need 10 triangles. Crossovers, forgot where I was, as fast as you can. If you drop, you have to start over though. Uh-oh, challenge is on. Let's see if I can do this. Miss Gemma's got her weapon. You can't see her yet, but she's coming out with hers. Can you do it? Are you ready? Come on. Show everybody. Come on out here. There she is. We got our weapon. And when you accomplish it, 10 in one side, go to your other hand.
Way over 10.
And 10 and so there's no such thing as being strong in your left or your right. I want both hands equal. Okay.
Doing the best here.
And time. My little ninja warrior. Okay. We're not ready for that one yet. Almost. I have 2 more minutes on this one. Okay, the next trick we're going to use, and I'm teaching you the harder ones while you have time to practice at home. The next one I call flip-flop. And do we have a formal name for that, or is that?
Rodeo? Rodeo.
Rodeo.
I'm trying to think because
I don't know how formal rodeo sounds, but.
Rodeo.
All right, so we're going to start from up on our shoulder. I'm going to turn sideways. One hand is facing out. You're going to flip it over into that hand and grab. Now it goes under your arm and you catch behind. And this is my bad side, okay? Then you bring it over and you finish with a triangle. So on the other side, I can demonstrate a little better on this side. All right, you flip it over, catch, under your arm, catch, and set it back up with a triangle. Hand out, flip it into your hand. Let go with the other hand. It is going to go under, catch over your shoulder. You've got to trust that it will be there as you hit yourself in the head 10 times. Okay, flip-flop. So the crossover and the flip-flop are probably the more difficult basic tricks, okay? And I'm going to actually stop there because I want to watch my time. You guys can work on those drills. We'll have more drills for you. Those are basics. Mr. Matthews Jr. is going to do advanced later. And we're going to go to our next weapon. So go ahead and put your sangjabangs away. And bang mangi. Gemma, you donated yours?
Alright. So, bong money. I gotta remember what the name is. Short stick?
Short stick.
That's what it is. Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So, bong money means short stick. Obviously, it's a short stick. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Alright. So, when it comes, we're going to go ahead and start with the 9 striking lines. Now, when we do our 9 striking lines, there's only this portion of the bang mangi that we're going to actually hit with. All right. Yes, we have the whole bang mangi, but this is the area that we're actually going to hit with the top 2-ish inches, or yeah, 2-ish inches, 2-3 inches of the bang mangi. All right. Main reason is because this is where we'll get the most strike force. All right. When we hit down, that's the part that'll hurt the most. All right. When we hit with this area, this is more for blocking. All right. We're using more of the weapon to block for more. So when we're actually striking, we want to use the top 2 inches. So we're going to go ahead and start with the 9 striking lines. This is the same for pretty much any weapon. All right. So the 9 striking lines, I learned a long time ago a little way to remember them. So we go neck, neck, tummy, tummy, knee, knee, up, down, stab. All right. So what does that mean? Well, let's go over it. So we start with the weapon in the right hand. All right. And then hands up on guard. All right. Number 1 strike is neck, so we're coming down at an angle. Weapon stays here until the last second, and then we hit, and the weapon comes up. Don't leave the weapon tip down. Weapon tip always comes up. 2 is the exact same thing, but just the opposite way. So we're coming back on this side, all the way down, strike, come up. That's 1 and 2. So let's do 1 and 2 again. So 1, down here, strike, come up, and 2 goes down, strike, come up. All right, so obviously you wouldn't necessarily do it that slow. We're just doing it for teaching purposes. Fast, it would look like this. 1, 2. And I always switch my feet because that's just, muscle memory there. All right, so that's 1 and 2, neck, neck. Next is tummy, tummy, or 3 and 4. 3 and 4 goes, like I said, across the stomach, so it'll be this way, and we strike across for 3, and then back the other way. Strike across for 4. Notice how the weapon still goes completely up. All right, we don't want the weapon tip down, we want the weapon tip up. So 3 and 4, 3, strike, 4, strike. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4 fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 5 and 6, we're at knee, knee. All right, knee, we're coming down. This is about the only time the weapon tip will face the floor, but even then it's because we're striking up. So that's 5. The other way is 6. So 5 comes down, hits the knee, 6 hits the knee as well. All right, so 1 through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, up and down. 7 up, 8 down, all right? 7, we're coming straight up. We're hitting up. And then 8, we're going straight down. Here, weapons comes back up as always. So 7 up, 8 down. All right, and let's just go ahead and add 9. 9 is a stab, and you can stab however you want. There are multiple places or multiple ways you can stab. There's the top of the weapon you can use to stab. There's the butt of the weapon you can use to stab. You can get fancy with it and twirl it. However you want to stab, as long as you're stabbing what's in front of you. You can even add like a cute little foot motion like I like to do. All right, so 9 is a stab, just as long as you are stabbing what is in front of you. So let's go through 1 through 9. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so that is our 1 through 9. That is our 9 striking lines. We have a dangerous baby coming along.
Staff is next. You have
We're
to
not
wait.
quite there, kiddo. All right. Moving on. Obviously, with the stick, it's not like the song Jabong. Want to attack grandma. With the bang mangi, it's not like the song Jabong where we can just twirl it and it does what we want it to do. We have to actually force our wrist to twirl or use more hand motion in order to get it. She's gonna kill me. In order to get the weapon to do things. So we want it. Are you gonna stab me? I've been attacked. So if we want to get the weapon to twirl, we actually have to use our hands to do that. She's going. Oh. And she's been yoinked. All right, so we're going to learn how to twirl the weapon, basically. So we're going to start with the weapon straight out in front of us, and we always hold the weapon. It's kind of hard to see. I pulled this one out so you can kind of see. This whole area is the handle. So when you guys if you guys have your actual weapons at home, it'll be right before it gets really right before the foamy part. All right, and you'll hold it right at that top. If you don't have one and you're using a regular pipe, it's not quite the middle. It's about 1/3 of the way up the weapon. So if you cut the weapon into thirds, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, I'm holding it in 1/3 of that area. All right. So we hold the weapon straight up, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna open our weapon and only hold the weapon between the thumb and the first finger. So we're just gonna let the weapon fall. All right. So if you look at my hand's completely open. I'm just holding it by this thumb area, really. And to get it to come back up, we pull it with the thumb back into our hand. All right. So the weapon goes down, it opens up, and we pull it back up with our thumb. As you do this fast, this is honestly an easy weapon to get to go fast as you just let it twirl. And you don't even, honestly, when I get to the point that I start doing it fast, I don't even completely close my hand. I more of use my hand to kind of push the weapon to continue to go faster. All right, so that's a quick introduction of how to do a roll or a twirl. Good drills for this thing. All right, so a lot of the time as you guys start getting it, you guys will have this kind of like circle this way, or it'll look weird, and we're not here for that. We want it to look pretty. So we have a couple drills. Easiest one to do at home is a chair drill. All right. So what we're gonna do it that way. Either way
you want.
Let's do it this way. This way. All right. I'm gonna put the chair this way just because it's more towards about my belt level, a little taller. And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to twirl the weapon down. All right. So I'm twirling the weapon between the chair. All right. Notice how if I mess up, I hit the chair. All right. We don't want to do that. As you get better at doing it through here, you'll just bring the chairs in. All right. Your goal is to keep this weapon pretty much straight. And as you get better at it closer, you want to get faster. So go ahead, find a couple chairs, or find a couple siblings, put them really close to each other.
Between their heads.
Right between
Okay.
And all you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your bong mangi or whatever you're using as bong mangi, and you're just gonna practice down and up. We went ahead and showed down. Up is basically the same thing. All we do is we bring the weapon backwards, open it, and pull it up the other way. So it's pretty much the same thing, just opposite. All right. Obviously, whatever we do the one side, we want to do the other. I'm not as good as this hand, so I'm going to go a little slower. Or at least I'm not as straight. You can tell I really need to practice on this side. All right. So, like I said, you're just practicing through the chair. This is to get coordination down, and being able to have this weapon stay by you will actually be a lot of help. All right. Is there anything else I'm missing with bong mangi? I went through that kind of fast.
Those are the drills we want you to work on with this weapon. So we gave you a couple of tricks with the song jabong to work, control moves with the bong mangi to work. Now, if you have a staff or a long stick or a broomstick and you have room to swing this thing, if you're able to go outside, in Vegas it's pretty breezy outside right now, but outside would be the better place to go with that. Go switch your weapons. I'll just get out of the way so you have more room.
Take your cell phone with you. Take your cell phone outside. Get some space. You got space. Other cars driving. Kids riding bikes. Aim for the nearest kid. Stick the staff in the spokes. Watch them flip. Profit. All right, so I'm going to start off with, it's not really basic. If I start basics, you're just doing the same 9 lines. So if I'm going normal technique, it's going to be out of this grip. So right hand's underneath, left hand's on top, and that is the grip that I'm going to be doing all of this out of. This is called a rifle grip. but we're gonna start off with some of the fancier techniques. So we'll start off with the number 5 drill. Most of the drills, all of the drills, just have numbers assigned to them. And the drills with bow for the form are actually kind of irrelevant because you only do 2 of them. This is a number 2, and this is an 8. And outside of that, you don't do any of these drills in the actual form. So we're going to start off with the eagle grip, which is 5. Start palm facing down, hands in the center of the weapon. I'm going to turn palm up. My other hand goes on top, also facing up, and keep rolling the weapon until it's in your thumbs. You know if you're doing it correct is when you stop in this position, both palms should be facing up. Only your thumbs should be touching the weapon, and it kind of looks like a little birdie. All right, so for an eagle, or however eagle go. All right, so that's the eagle. Take my egg. So we're starting here. Palm goes up, other hand goes on top. Grab thumb, palm down. Rinse and repeat until you can do it continuously. And I suggest getting it going in both directions because the main use for this move is not to spin it the way I'm doing it now. There are more efficient ways to spin it. It is simply to transfer the weapon from one hand to the opposite. So the easiest way, or not the easiest way, but the best way to run this drill is doing what I'm doing now, which will lead us into our next technique, which is figure 8 into eagle grip. So to do that, I'm going to start in this hand. I'm starting in my left, but I mean you can start in your right and just follow the same exact motion of what it looks like to you. I'm going to do a figure 8 first. When I do my figure 8, it doesn't go forward this way. It goes sideways. That's why the weapon looks like it's spinning so fast. It's because it's spinning sideways, and it makes it a little bit hard for the eyes to see. So you see a blur, and it gives it the illusion that it's going pretty fast. So I'm going to do my figure 8 first, till it's in front, my palm is up, the other hand grabs on top. Once it's in my right hand, I'm going to finish with a reverse figure 8. So the thumb side is going to point at the ground and back up at the sky. And then I'm just going to reverse the direction, do my figure 8, go the other way, into my opposite hand, thumb, point thumb at the ground, and back up. So down, figure 8, into my other hand, and back up, figure 8, into my other hand, and back up. Now, common mistakes, most of the time the mistakes that you make are going to be because you're trying to go too fast, and if you don't know how to do the move already, going too fast is not going to do anything but mess you up. It's going to take you even longer to learn the move. The only time you're going this fast is if I can do this technique without thinking about it. But until then, you need to do it this slow. You need to make sure your palm's up and the other palm's up. That way you avoid making mistakes like this when palms are facing down, palms are facing each other, you're grabbing underneath instead of on top, which is important. And I want this motion to happen every single time. Whatever hand's catching it goes on top. Now, if you're not good at that move, this is the only thing you really need to do for like the next hour. Just practice this. If you're one of those that wants to learn how to do this, but you don't have your own staff, grab a broom handle. I'm not joking about it. When I learned how to spin this weapon, it was with the handle that came out of rakes. I'd be in my parents' backyard, supposed to be doing chores. I take the handle out, they come out, find none of the chores done, but I'm out there just doing this over and over. Or I would do this, start on one end and spin it all the way till I got to the other side. And apparently, people don't do that no more, because when I try to teach people hand spins, it's like voodoo to them. They're like, what? I'm like, I figured that out before I even knew it was a move for bow. Like, when I was a kid, when I say kid, I'm talking about like 7 and 8, I was doing this. So it's not really that hard a move. If somebody as uncoordinated as I was can hit that when I was 8 years old, you can definitely hit it. All right, so we will go into some of the more advanced moves that also use this technique. And it'll start to be able to build a little mini combination like this. So we're going to do a 6. 6 is 5 with a release. So it's the same move. I don't do anything different with my hands. My palm goes up, my All right, other hand goes on top. Right now I'm going left into my right. And instead of just handing it to myself, I'm gonna hop it to myself. And then I'm gonna go back the opposite direction. You can continue going the same way, or you could switch sides. I prefer to switch sides because I want to be able to catch with both hands. So once I get to one side, I take that hand, I go palm up. The other hand also goes on top, hop into that hand. Turn up, hop into the hand. So I want the weapon to go over my hand, not my hand under the weapon. Understand? So here, the weapon is out under my hand and I need to throw it over. Back and forth. Now, once I can do this fairly comfortably, this is controlling my spin, then I add a rotation, but I don't change the move. So now I'm doing a full rotation instead of a half rotation, and nothing changes when you go 1.5, 2. The only thing that changes is I might spin it a little faster, or I might throw it a little higher, or I might wait a little longer, or do a combination of the three. Just really depends on how many spins I'm doing. For freestyles, outside of like spins, so like when I throw it, spin it, and catch it, there's really never any reason to spin it more than one time. And there's never really any reason to throw it way up here. The only time I'm throwing it that high is if I'm spinning and trying to catch it. Okay, so you're either, so far, practicing this move right here, where you go palm up, other hand on top, grab, back and forth. If you have that move, then you're doing the transfer, figure eight, from hand to hand. If you have that move, you're adding the toss, and you can do the same motion, the figure eight, catch, back and forth. So depending on what skill level you're at will depend on what drill you're doing. So now we're going to make it just a little bit more interesting, and we're going to take this into a star. Now a star could be done in 3 different ways. We're going to do 2 of them. So we're going to do the normal star. We're going to do a figure eight, catch it behind our back. How you catch it doesn't really matter, but for me, I catch it like this. So I take the weapon hand and I go thumbs up, and then the other hand will also go thumbs up behind my main hand. So at this point I have it in my fingers on both hands. But you can also just catch it like this. You catch it like this, it's fine. You can still do it. It's just not going to look like it spins as much. So if you do yours and you see me do mine and you're wondering why mine looks like I spin it more, it's because I do. I spin it just really just a quarter of a spin further, but that quarter of a spin allows me to catch it different and spin it another quarter of a spin on the other hand, which altogether gives me a half extra rotation every time I catch it. So I'll do the basic one. You catch it right here behind your back and switch hands. So now it's not on my right hand anymore, it's now on my left. I'm going to go thumbs up and then scratch my back with it, thumbs down. My opposite hand's going to come up. You can catch palms together, or the way that I do it, my palm will be facing down like I'm about to put my hand on my head, and I grab it with just my thumb. And once again, I do this so that after I catch it, I can spin it immediately. If you catch it like this, it's okay, just notice it doesn't really spin. So if I'm doing the absolute most basic variation of this move, I'm going to go palm up behind me, palm up here, and catch. Switch hands. Then I'm going to go thumb down, like I'm scratching my back, and clap. Switch hands. Palm up behind me, thumb down. Just like this. Now, if you catch it with your palm, with your thumb up, like this, you're going to have this extra rotation in the back. So instead of it looking like this, you'll look here, so it spins quite a bit more. And same thing here. If I don't catch it like this and I let this hand rotate till my hand's down, like I'm putting my hand on my head, and I do the same thing with this hand, it now looks like that. So I get a lot more rotation out of it. So you're going to take 3 moves now. You're going to take your figure eight, you're going to take your star, and you're gonna take your 5 or your 6, sorry, and you're gonna put them all together. Figure 8, into star, into 6, back, and just continue till you get bored, basically. If you're new to this weapon, that should take you a long time to get bored with.
Hi, Miss Brenda.
Now, I don't know too many of my
Jim
students.
says you make it look so easy.
It is.
It's not. He's laughing.
You know, so Jim said I'll make this look easy. There's two parts to that sentence. First of all, that is what you want. You want it to look easy. That is the biggest compliment anybody can get. If you land a move but it looks hard, then you're probably not that great at it yet. Which there are many moves I'm on that tip. But for the most part, you want to get it to where it is easy, and that means you have to practice it like I did. The last time I practiced this particular combo, which I told you there's another variation of star, which is the last one we're going to do. When I did this, I was at my cousin's house. I'm sitting there staring at horses, and I had found a random pipe, and I had no interest being inside my cousin's house at the time. I don't remember. They're probably yelling at each other. That's what they do. And I'm not about that life. So I sat out in their corral, like standing there staring at the horses, for probably like 2 hours, doing just different variations of star into toss, trying to keep it going. I did just that, what I just did just now, for about 2 hours straight. And it didn't look like that at the beginning because I had just tried to make that combo. So I was like, all right, how am I going to do this? How does my hand work and stuff? But after about 2 hours of doing the same move, I was starting to get it pretty consistent. So it takes quite a bit of time, but if you dedicate that time, you'll make it look easy as well. So let's go front star. In order to do a front star, I need to be able to do a reverse figure 8. So I'm actually going to do that with my left hand. You can do this both directions, but because my right hand is my dominant one, that means most of the catches and the awkward motions need to be done with my left hand. So I'm going to start with the weapon behind me, index finger pointed at the ground, and I feel like I need to sneeze. Chew. That was sitting there for like 5 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to go fingers up. Once I get to here, palm up. So I'm sitting just like this. Pay attention to your hand just as much as you do the weapon, by the way. If you're trying to get the weapon to do the right thing, but your hand is not doing the right thing, it ain't gonna work. You gotta focus on hand first, then make sure the weapon is feeling what it's supposed to be. Once I get to here, I'm gonna feel like I'm stabbing the ground in front of me. And that's all your reverse figure 8 is. I'm gonna go palm up behind me, stab in front. Palm up behind, stab in front. Now if I want to continue it, stab in front will go all the way into what feels like a backswing would be for like a tennis smack. The technical term, I obviously don't watch tennis. Probably look at me and tell that. So I go palm up, stab down, and then when the thumb side points the ground again, my backhand all the way back to the beginning. So this is your figure 8 going backwards. If it feels comfortable, it's because you're doing it wrong. You're probably doing a normal figure 8 again. So you got to make sure you're going the opposite direction. So now, let's put it all together, starting in the right hand again. I'm going to go figure 8, catch it behind me. However you feel comfortable catching it, I'm still catching it up and down. Then, do my reverse figure 8, where I stab it down in front. When I stab it in front, for me, my right hand is going to turn upside down this way and come on the inside and grab it and pull it out. From that position, I can go right back into figure 8, grab it in my left, thumb up, stab down, grab with the right. You can go all the way to here if you want, or here. If you go to here, you get a little extra spin. Boom, up, down, catch, and just try to pick up a little bit of speed as you get comfortable with the motion. But if your hands aren't catching it consistently, like you don't feel like you can figure 8 out of that position, then go slow. Make sure that when you catch, your right hand is thumbs down to here. Or if you have the extra spin, you just wait a little bit longer to catch it. I actually don't do that extra spin when I do this, by the way. I don't know if you noticed when I was going fast, but I don't go to here because I have a tendency to drop it more often when I do it like that. So I do that normal spin and I catch it right here with my left thumb up instead of my left thumb down. If my left thumb is up and I catch it, I still have a pretty firm grip with my left hand. And in my opinion, it doesn't look a whole heck of a lot different when I add that extra spin, but I do drop it more often when I add that extra spin. So for me personally, it's not worth the added risk. I'm not gonna risk dropping it to make it look a little bit better. I'd rather just look like that, especially because I'm gonna use it in a combination. Very rarely gonna throw it more than once in a row. So it'll be front side, back side, toss. All right, and then if you can catch in this position, that's eagle grip, right back into front side, back side, toss, eagle grip, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's plenty of stuff to work on. There aren't really any basic tricks to do with this weapon. Everything you're gonna do is gonna be, based on how much control you have, and how much control you have will all be dependent on how much time you spend practicing with your weapon. So you're gonna spend a lot of time practicing with this thing. You're probably gonna smack yourself in the face a bunch of times. So get used to it. It doesn't feel good, but don't be afraid of it. And don't think you're doing something wrong if you do smack yourself in the face. I've broken plenty of blood vessels in my hands and fingers. I've caught myself in the eye, blacked my eye a couple times, done a lot of damage to myself with this weapon, learning it before I got to the point that I am at now. And I am in no way, shape, or form the best. Matter of fact, I've got a couple students that have far surpassed me, past what I taught them. I taught them as far as I could, and then they just took it to a whole nother level because of how much time they spent with this thing in their hands. So you want to be good with this weapon? It should always be in your hands. All right, that's it for today. Practice safely, and as always, deuces.